amazing, amazing stuff. You know, sometimes when, for those of us in education, like I said to a couple of teachers I was training yesterday, I said, people like us may not necessarily aspire to be millionaires in naira and kobo, euros and dollars, but because we make such a difference in the lives of people, we're rich. We have alternative equity. We have alternative equity. We're rich. We're part of the people who are building lives. We're building nations. So please don't undervalue yourself. Don't think you are not important. Don't belittle what you are doing. Walk with your shoulders held high because you are making a difference in the lives of the young men and women of Nigeria. Okay? So stand tall. All of us can make a difference. So my topic today is on strategies for developing leadership skills and making a positive impact. Like I said, I've been a school leader in one of the schools, but I've been a school leader in a couple of schools. But the last school I worked in Lagos, about 750 kids, British school, you know, so doing a lot. Then I went outside the country to head a women's university. Focus again on education. And so at my core is educational leadership, teacher training, development. And over the years I have seen that all of us have to have the mindset of leaders to really make a difference. So don't think I'm in this class and I'm just working with these children and that's all I do. You are leading the learning in that space. So like the first speaker said, technology is here to make it easier for us to lead the learning. How many times have we found ourselves in situations where we ask a question and the children already knew the answer to the whole lesson? Hands up. See, these teachers are trying to pretend. I'm a teacher, so I know. When you plan a fantastic lesson, and then you walk in and ask two questions, everybody knows the answer. What do you do next? What do? You mentally re-strategize. Thank you. These days, all the children have the ultimate teacher in their hands. What do they have? They have technology. They have Google. So why do they need to come to our schools? Why? Why do the children need to come to us? Well, if I want to find out what caused the, let's say, what was the transition? Who was the last great leader of the Oyo Empire? These days, you know, I saw something online where this young man in what university? I can't remember. I think MIT, and he had invented these glasses. And there was a chip, you know, like a microphone, and all he has to do is think about the question. So a reporter went to interview him, was asking him a couple questions. Who invented, you know, strange questions from a long time ago. He will just repeat the question, kind of focus, and read out the answer from his glasses. So he doesn't need a computer. He doesn't need, like me, to hold my phone. His glasses. So again, I ask you, please, why should that boy come to your school? Why should he come to your class? What's he coming to look for there? You still have something to teach that boy. He's coming to learn skills for life. If he's little, he's coming to learn how to take turns and not push. He's coming to learn how to interact socially. He's coming to learn how to collaborate. What are the 4 C's of the 21st century? Tell me. Number 1, creativity and critical thinking. No, sorry, creativity and innovation. Collaboration. I can't hear, we're whispering. Critical thinking and problem solving. One more. Communication, thank you. So I'll say it again. 4 C's of the 21st century. Number 1, communication. Number 2, collaboration. Number 3, creativity and problem solving. critical thinking and problem solving, creativity and innovation. So 4 C's. The children are coming to your school to learn how to live life in the 21st century. So, I have a statement on the board and I want to know whether we agree with the statement fully, partially, somewhat. Do we agree? I need to repeat that again. Creativity and innovation, critical thinking and problem solving, collaboration, communication. That's 4 C's. Everybody has that now? Okay, so do you agree with my statements? Leadership, 4 C's of 21st century education, of 21st century learning. The 4 C's of 21st century learning. Okay, back to my statement. Do you agree or not? Leadership is doing what is right when no one is watching. Strongly agree, slightly agree, disagree, strongly agree. Okay. So leadership is doing the right thing when no one is watching. And I'm presenting a position that all teachers are leaders of learning. Okay? So that's my position. All teachers are leaders of learning. You are leading the learning. It is not just about the knowledge, the amount of information your children can cram and pour in that exam. You want them to learn to collaborate. You want them to learn the skills they need to be able to survive in the world of work today. The world of work today is not about how much information you remember. How much can you do with others in the same room? And you see where the 4 C's come in? So what do the 4 C's look like? I know I'm digressing a bit, but what will the 4 C's look like in your classroom? Do you provide opportunities for your students to collaborate? And how do we do that? You know, we let them sit in groups, right? Even in senior school. That's an easy way to foster collaboration where, right, we sit and we're facing each other. So after I talk for a bit, talk to your neighbor. Discuss something for 5 minutes. They're learning how to communicate. Can we work on this problem together? Can we start off this essay together? Can we plan it together? And when we have all the ideas and the keywords, then everybody writes it by themselves. So that they are learning how to write good essays before the almighty exams. How does that sound? For those of us, I say us because I fall into that category, those of us who did not like our physics teachers, raise your hands. We're many. No, we're not so many. Okay, let's throw the physics teachers. Who teaches physics here? Stand up. No, we don't like the physics teacher. So nobody will accept to be a physics teacher. Okay, sit down, physics teacher, sit down. No, I'm talking about then. In the many years ago when I was in school. So I did not like my physics teacher at all. Oh, he's saying he didn't like his teacher. So, okay, we apologize to all physics teachers in the room. I didn't like my physics teacher at all. Imagine if I had the opportunity to learn physics with some of my classmates. So give us the big question in the textbook, right? 2, 3 questions, and then we sit together and solve it. But do you think I would have gotten the wonderful score I got in physics? You cannot guess my score. My score was, I was the last to do Form 5. That was in, what year was that? 1989, I think. 88? No, 89. So I went to uni in 1990. Yes, 1989. I was the last to do Form 5. So that means we had to do Form 3. And we had to do, so there was no JSS. You had to do 3 years in junior. Then you go to arts class or science class. None of these wonderful alternatives. So, Form 3 exam. So I got a 70, hang on. My English score was about 90 something. My math score was 74. But remember, I didn't like physics. But if I got a 90 something in English and a 74 in math, logically, what should my physics score be? Logically. 80s, 70s. Because I understand the English and I can process the number and the reasoning, both required for physics. But because I did not like my physics teacher and I did not have the option to learn collaboratively with my peers, I can proudly say I got 2% in my promotion exam. Yes, 2, 1, 2. It's like, no, she's raising her finger, say another 2. Like, do you mean this 2? Yeah, that one. 1, 2. What happened to me? Seriously, what happened to me? Lack of interest? My mind? Who said mindset? How to give me a free course? My mindset was closed. I did not like my teacher. I was afraid of my teacher. He will come in and those boys in the back that will make trouble, who will flog them, who will be shouting. So I'll just sit in front like this. So nothing was coming in. To the point that I could process maths and pass. I got an A3 in maths. Finally, yes. But I failed physics. You cannot be the teacher that will get an A student to fail physics. You have to be the leader of the learning. So understand that because you are the one leading that learning, you are helping your students acquire the knowledge and skills that they need to succeed. Who knows, maybe I would have been a doctor now, making plenty of money. But it's okay. It's okay, I'm happy. So I should be grateful to my physics teacher for ensuring that I came here, right? Okay. Failure is a temporary state where valuable lessons are learned. I learned a lot of lessons from my failure in physics. I learned, and I tell the story all the time to teachers and to children. I learned that if I don't learn the lessons I need, if I don't put the effort and energy I need to put, I will fail. If everything I do depends on someone else, I will fail. But what helped me, what can make the difference to your students is leadership. How are you going to drive your children to success? And the theory is that the distance between failure and success typically is leadership. The distance between failure and success, especially in schools, is leadership. Are you, as the teacher leader, the school leader, are you able to inspire? Are you able to inspire your children, inspire your colleagues, inspire others to achieve? Are you able to serve them on that journey? And are you able to celebrate them when they achieve that? And we define success here as a predictable result, because success is predictable. We know those who will be successful and we know those who won't, don't we? You know your students who will be successful. How do you know? What do they do? Okay, talk to your neighbor. Neighbor, 1 minute talk. What do successful students do? Tell your neighbor quickly. Somebody's saying, I heard they follow instructions, I'll come around, hear someone. Tell your neighbor, don't tell me. They go the extra mile. They successful teachers, children do? What do successful teachers do?
You should try.
What do we do as a successful teacher? You don't only focus on the knowledge, you go the extra mile to inspire them. I heard someone say, make the learning fun, make it a more interesting experience. So the children don't just come into your class and fall asleep. You make it interactive. I'm trying to help you see that you are all leaders in your classrooms. You are all leaders in the space. Now there's some myths leadership that I just want to talk through very quickly. It sounds like my mic is fading in and out. Or am I good? Can you hear me? Okay. It's fading in and out. Might be a battery or something. It's fading in and out. Okay. According to John Maxwell, we have a few challenges. Sometimes we have challenges with believing that we are the leaders. We don't believe it. We believe that unless I am at the top, that should be top. It says tip. That's an error. That should be top. Unless I'm at the top, I can't lead. I have to be at the tip of the iceberg, but it should be top. But it's not true. You can lead from where you are. Another one, when I become the boss, when I become the head teacher, when I become the assistant principal, when I become coordinator, when I get to Subeb, no, you can lead from where you are. Another one, if I were at the top, everybody will listen to me, everybody will follow me, and that's not entirely true. There are some people that have influenced you so much and they are not your boss. Can you remember anybody that has made a difference in your life as an educator or otherwise, but they were not the boss? Anybody? I can't see any hands, so I don't know if you're following. Yeah. I know certain people like that. I looked up to them. I would ask them questions, but they were not the boss. You can lead from where you are. You are the teacher that can inspire your students to move forward. The other one, it says, the only time I can be in charge, in control, is when I'm at the top. That's not true. That's a myth. Some people feel quite limited in their positions. You don't feel as empowered. After all, I'm just a class teacher. What can I do? No. You can do so much more, because by the time you get to the top, by the way, it's like your responsibilities increase and your freedom reduces. Yes. When you get up there, all of a sudden you can't just carry your bag and close at closing time. You have parents to see, you have emails to attend to, you have a government secretariat meeting, you have policy to check. And then some people feel, no, if I can't be the boss, then it's okay, I don't even still beg. So I want to kind of break down two of the myths. This first one. You don't need the title of leader to lead. You are leading the learning in your room. What is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is to make sure you are raising independent adults that can function in the 21st century. That's the goal. We've heard about technology, the wild boards and all of that. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we didn't have this available in Nigeria. You had to go abroad, right? To be able to find this. But now we have it here, we can put it together. In another 20 years, maybe even in 10 years, we'll have wild desks. Not just wild boards. I've seen those, by the way. They're available already abroad. Where the children have interactive desks. How many people watch football? Have you seen those desks they use for analysis? They already have them. The wild desks. I watch football. I won't tell you my team. No, we will now fight. Never. Me, Arsenal. That's my husband's team, and we're always fighting. I said I won't tell you. Like gist. Positional leadership says, if you look at leadership from a positional point of view, there are 5 levels of leadership according to John Maxwell. And he says that level 1 is the lowest level. They've now called you assistant head teacher, title. That's level 1, you're just warming up. That's just about the position and the job description. Then he says we all need to go up, okay? In order to become a level 2 leader, you need to build relationships with your people. So, you're a teacher. Very easy to build relationships with your students, yes or no? Yes. Absolutely. So you see that you can be the leader of the learning in your classroom. You can inspire those children to do anything. You can lead once you understand your role as a teacher. You can inspire them to live right. You can inspire them to make a difference in their communities. You can. Because you're already in the position and you are able to build the relationships. Level 3, results. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm holding too many things. I'm used to. I'm trying to contain myself. I'm so sorry if I've broken it. Mr. Walby, I apologize if I've broken it. Thank you. Please help me fix that. Okay. Where are we? Results. Oh, I didn't bring it. No, I will be very careful. I'm holding like this. So I will not drop it, and I'll hold the mic like this. Okay. Results. Can you reposition that if you mind? Yeah. Yes. Thank you. People respect results. So you can't be the leader that has no results. You can't be the leader telling me you know joy, you know you have to be a good citizen, you know, you character, morals, and then at break time, what am I seeing the teacher doing? And it's because we're working in the same school. After I have just finished telling my children that they must be kind. What do we tell the little children? Use your indoor voice, walking feet, don't slam the door. And then for the older children, you tell them be respectful. Respect is a two-way street, mutual. And what are you doing outside? Shouting at your colleague? All of a sudden, we have lost credibility. Even worse, your children, your students are your relatives. Or your own biological children. So when you're talking in school, you know, we should do this, what are they doing in their mind? And that's what they're doing to you and I. So you have to see yourself beyond that. I'm a teacher, all I do is talk about history or physics. No, you are a leader of learning. You are leading these young minds and you are the example. Some of them come from very challenging backgrounds. And so you are the example. And so your results will get them to respect you more and look up to you more as a level 3 leader. Level 4 talks about personhood. People development. And that speaks to coaching and mentoring. A lot of you are coaching your children already. You're getting them to do things that are not in the curriculum. Some of you do extracurricular things. You support your children. You support your colleagues. That is leadership. You are leading. Now, level 5 leadership relationship is something that you cannot put yourself in. Somebody has to say, look, that person is my level 5 leader. He is so humble. He's so highly skilled, has fantastic results, but has the humility to understand that even though I am very skilled, I'm not the most skilled in the room. They're able to recognize when she can do a better job at this, and I put her to do it. She has a superior argument, let's go with her idea. That's level 5 leadership. So John Maxwell says, all of us can be leaders. We can aspire to be level 5 leaders when we combine skills, good capabilities, relationships, and humility. That's something we're not very comfortable with in Africa. I'm the most intelligent, I'm the richest. Do you know how many degrees I have? Do you know how many certificates? You see my CV is not like this. Do you know how many alphabets I have behind my name? I finished my first doctorate, I want to do another one. I have how many masters? Interestingly, it's not only Africans. One of my former bosses, white guy, he has 2 doctorate degrees and 3 master's degrees. And I had to ask him one day, I'm like, Dr. England, what are you doing? Like, why are you tensioning us? He won't have understood what I meant. I was like, what's going on? Yeah, he just, likes learning, he likes to find out, and he got a grant to do something. I was like, okay, it's good. No, I won't go back. Yeah, so you can be a level 5 leader. You can. This just talks about the fact that the higher up you go, the more responsibilities you have and the fewer rights you have. That's all it is. Your students look up to you. They do. So you need to be aware of it because they are looking up to you. Understand your role as the inspiration, the person who inspires, the person who is leading the learning. This quote from Maya Angelou, I love the quote. She's like the Wole Soyinka of America. She's late now, fantastic poet. And she put a quote. I wonder if everyone can read it. Let's do that thing we do in school. Everybody read. 1, 2, 3, go. True or false? I always remember that my physics teacher made me feel afraid and stupid in my brain. So my brain switched off in that class. My French teacher was fantastic, and because she was just very inspirational, her manner and all. I did French in YN, I did French in GCE, I did French in JAM, because I made a connection with the individual. Too many times we underestimate the power of those relationships. I'm not saying you should be your students' friends, absolutely not. But you should be approachable. You should be the person that is leading them. Because they will remember how you make them feel. Very quickly, I want to show you some, like I said, we were colonized by the British, right? So their teaching standards, we're talking about teachers and leadership, they have 10 standards for anybody who is in any form of leadership position in any school. 10 standards. And we all have to pay attention to all these areas. So in your classroom, what is the culture in your classroom? Is it positive or is it full of tension? What's the culture? What's the atmosphere? Pay attention to that. Obviously, know your curriculum. Obviously, pay attention to school improvements. Who has additional needs, and how can I support those children that have additional needs? Because my needs may be, I work so fast, you need to give me a lot more work, but still keep me in that same class, yeah? So you don't have to promote me out of my age group, because I'll have a problem with the older children. I'm not mature enough. But because I am academically faster cognitively, how can you stretch the work a little bit? So I don't need to go up, but I can go broad. That's my need. On the other hand, my need can be, I think I process information at a slower pace than the others. Instead of saying, go down to the lower class, is there a way to put me in multiple situations where I can get that same information over and over? Is there a way to slow it down for Joy so that Joy can understand? We need to pay attention to all these areas. Why do we need to pay attention to these areas? What is the implication for you as a school, as the leader of learning? Number one, the one at the bottom, the first step of the ladder, know your curriculum. I cannot count the number of school teachers who would say, we do the Cambridge, British, American, Turkish curriculum. Really? How? And they brought the books from Singapore, because they say Singapore maths is the best in the world. So we use Singaporean maths books. Then we register with British Council and use the Cambridge scheme. Then what else? True or false? We all do it. Don't look guilty. Don't say it's okay. You need to know what you're doing. You need to know, and when we say know the curriculum, know the end. By the end of this year's one, what are the skills that our children are supposed to know? What's the knowledge? What should they know? What should they be able to do? By the way, do we all know about the NERDC website? Yeah? NERDC website? No. I wish someone could help me Google that. Can we? Is it possible? Are you connected to the internet? Yeah. No? That is where the Nigerian curriculum is housed, the e-curriculum. It's updated. NERDC, who has data? Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council. If you click on there, you will see the updated Nigerian curriculum with a list of outcomes from primary 1 all the way to SS3. It's there. You have to pay for it. It's not free, but it's there. You can access. I think senior secondary is 8,500 for the whole year. Primary is 12,500 or something. Which website? And then the junior secondary. You know, there are different ones. You have to know your curriculum. You need to know what you're doing. Remember, we cannot be teaching. See, too many times, you know what they taught us in NCE? The people that brought that thing they taught us in NCE, they moved on. And we're still using that. We're in trouble. This is why Nigeria and Africa in general were behind. Where we're saying we cannot be using the approach, the methodology from 1900s in the 21st century. This is why when our students go abroad and they give them the opportunity to think and solve problems and create, all of a sudden they're creating spacecrafts. Why couldn't they think of those ideas here? We don't encourage thinking. What do we encourage? Not just Nigeria. Did you watch that video where the Ghanaian education minister was hounding the people? Anybody see that video? He said he went to visit schools, someone saw the back. He went to visit schools in Ghana and was asking the children questions. And then he now told the children, okay, anybody have a question for me? Nobody. Multiple schools. Why? The children are used to, I sit, I watch and listen, I copy from the board, I point to the exam, the end. We cannot continue like this. We need to understand our roles as the leaders of learning. You have to know your curriculum. You have to know your teaching standards, the expectations of a teacher. There needs to be clear procedures, processes for monitoring and evaluation. And it's not that evaluation that they appraise you and they sack you. No. How can we have conversations to improve what we're doing? 1 key strategy, you mustn't forget. Set up your own, they're called professional learning communities, PLCs. Set up your PLC where I can come and talk to you. If this is a science teacher, I find another science teacher and another science teacher. When she's stuck, I can ask across. And so all of us do a better job. But when I want my school to be the best school in Lagos, we have problems. We are in the business of raising an informed citizenry that will improve the country. We are leaders of learning, not just teachers. Lastly, use data to inform your decision. Those exams that you give, can we look back at those questions and see which questions the children failed? And then we find out why. Is it that the textbook we're using, the approach we're using, is not good enough or is not strong enough for this group? It was great for last year. It was great for last year. It was great for 2 years ago. But for this group, it's not quite. Can we change some examples? Can we rethink what we're doing? Using the data from the exams. You know those tests? We cannot wait till term 3 for Joy to get 2%. You can't. Can we check when she got 12% in the test? Because I remember that I got 12% in the test. And I was wondering why they didn't add that 12% to the 2% in the exam. I remember. What can we do, you and I, as leaders of learning? Can we review those exam papers? Can we look at those things again? And use them to inform the plan for the next session? Can we do that? So that our children improve. That's how to lead the learning. So you and I are not just simply, this is the scheme they gave me. Okay, let me teach the scheme. We can no longer function like that because we are leaders of learning. I'm suggesting, can you scroll this up a bit? It's a bit skewed. Thank you. I'm suggesting that we should become transformational leaders. Transformational leaders. Leaders who inspire, who motivate, and direct positive changes in our schools. You don't need the title of leader to lead the learning in your classroom, to lead the learning in your school. We need to pay attention to our emotional intelligence. If I'm angry and frustrated, am I going to teach well? Absolutely not. So I need to find ways to reset. After Lagos traffic has shown me, I need to find ways to reset and reprogram and calm Listen to your students. Ask them questions and listen. Listen to your colleagues. You who's the school leader. You who's the head of department. And when we listen, please don't, you know how we're listening and we're like, round up. And if I understand what you're saying, immediately we're already giving them the solution. The principle of active listening says, defer judgment. Don't conclude. Wait. Listen. And let the person share. Remember, you have to teach the children. We're teaching them communication, right? And active listening is an essential part of communication. So what is the data telling us? Another principle I want you to use is data analysis. So number one, active listening. Okay, skills we need to lead the learning. Number one, active listening. Number two, data analysis. What is the data telling you? What is happening in your class? What is happening in your school? Do you ever conduct a well-being survey? How are you feeling in school? What can we do to make it better? Two simple questions. How do you feel in school? What can we do to make it better? You can ask primary one, they will tell you. In fact, you can ask those nursery children. They'll tell you. But the other ones, make it anonymous. They just write on a piece of paper. We collect that information and we use it to try and improve the environment in our schools. What is the data telling you about your staff? What is your staff doing to help you improve? Do we collect that information from our staff? Some people are doing it. These are the things we need to try out, to implement so that we improve our skills as teacher leaders. Remember what we said from the beginning? You are leading the learning. You are a leader of learning in your schools. Point number 3, teacher reflecting practices. You know in the lesson notes, when you have your lesson notes, what do they say we should do at the bottom? What do we write?
Assignment.
Evaluation. Right? Reflection. Questions are there? What do we do? We're asked to write an evaluation, right? At the end, reflection. We don't need to wait for that lesson note. Think about what you're doing. Everybody's going to start a new school year. What happened last year? How did last year go? What can you do better this school year? What can you do to improve your practice and to change? Can you adjust that, please? Point what number one? Number 4, have an improvement plan, a school improvement plan. So you gather the information, right? From your staff, from your exam scores, from your students. What are you going to do with that information? Put it in a plan. What can we do as a school to improve? Can we read this? 1, 2, 3, go.